Ideas are worthless and execution is everything, right? I'm going to call bullshit. Welcome back to Listen to Leo. In today's video, I wanted to talk about this outdated idea that ideas are completely worthless. In fact, because of the advancements in technology and artificial intelligence, and really the rise of things like the creator economy, turns out execution doesn't matter nearly as much as it used to. You can buy execution. And as the cost of buying execution drops, the value of the ideas behind the execution goes up. AI is making the cost of creating content go to zero. It is almost zero effort, zero time to generate any amount of text with AI or video or audio or images. It's all being generated. And so if everything can be generated, what gets generated? In a nutshell, everything. But the trick here is that you have to really have a clear understanding of what you're doing, why you're doing it, and who you're doing it for. Because anybody can generate anything, it's going to make it harder to stand out. Just doing the same thing as everybody else is a great way to get lost in the crowd. But when you really unlock your creativity and you just unleash your ideas in their purest form and don't hold back and really follow the stuff that you care about and the stuff that you just go deeper on than anybody else, that's what stands out like a lighthouse in the sea of sameness that is the internet. The idea of being unique and doing your own thing on social media typically doesn't seem like a winning strategy. But in the long term, it is. Short term, it means that you're not getting rewarded. You're not seeing your post go viral or spread or anything. You feel like you're just yelling into the void. And that's part of the process. But over time, as you develop your voice, as you develop your unique you-ness on social media, that's where you truly start to stand out. Because when everybody's trying to be the same and you're not, eventually people go, wait a minute, that guy's not like everyone else. Why is that? What does he see that none of the rest of us do? Because so many people on social media, if they are in the game of wanting to grow their social media account and they're wanting to, build their audience or whatever catchphrase you want to use, they are looking at them going, wait, they want to grow their audience, but they're not doing things the same way as everybody else. And they're not growing faster, but they're interesting. Like, what's going on there? And so over time, real relationships start to form with your audience. The key with building relationships you have to keep in mind is you can't rush them. The faster a relationship is built, the faster it can be lost because there's no real tie there. Think about it this way. If all of a sudden you got into an argument with a stranger on the street and it was a negative experience for both of you, you're going to walk away and then you're just going to forget about him. You don't know who this person is. You don't really care. Maybe it'll stick with you if you're like me and you'll ruminate over it for days or whatever. But ultimately, it's not going to matter in the scheme of things, most likely. Whereas on the other hand, If you get into an argument with your spouse, you have to live with them. That continues forward. Not going to just break off that relationship, probably. If it does, there's a lot more work involved. You got to go through divorce proceedings and custody, alimony, whatever. It depends. But the idea here is that there's a lot more work to break that relationship. You can't do it in an instant unless you really fuck up. But it's the same way with building relationships online. If you go viral and get a bunch of people who followed you because of this viral tweet or whatever, then if you say something that they don't like, they're just going to walk away, and that's it. And in fact, if they follow you for a viral tweet and it's not like all of your other tweets, which it probably won't be, then again, like, they're not going to stick around. Whereas if you're talking about the same things over and over in kind of different ways, and you're sharing your journey and you're being authentic, those relationships are built up over time. People start seeing you over and over again in their feeds, or somebody else recommends you as somebody to follow for insight on whatever it is you're talking about. And at that part, really interesting things start to happen. You start to develop real relationships with your audience that are not easily broken. And when you can do that, that's a very valuable audience to have, because it's people who trust you. And it's people who can give you feedback because they followed you for longer than, one viral tweet. And so this is why, going back to the original idea, thinking is so important, and ideas matter so much, because that's what's going to stand out of the crowd. It's going to take new ideas, new ways of thinking, new approaches to life in general. And that's not something that AI is going to be able to reliably produce. It might get lucky sometimes, but one of the things that I found AI to be the most useful for is taking the ideas that I've created and that I have crafted and shaped, and pushing those ideas out in different packages. And if you can really focus on building up the uniqueness of your ideas, the unique viewpoints, the things that make it you at the core, that is what is ultimately successful, because eventually you're going to have an army of robots to do your bidding. All you have to do is say, hey, go do this, and the robots will do it, and it'll get done. But will it matter? And the only way it'll truly matter is if the ideas at the core are good. And for them to be good, they have to be couched in reality. They have to be based in what humans actually care about. And the best way to focus on what humans care about is to start with what you actually care about. What is it that you can't shut up about? What do you have to talk about? Even when all the people around you get really annoyed and walk away, what can you not stop talking about? For me, it's the future and where technology is taking us and where everything is going. I'm really excited about all the improvements that can be made based on these technological advances. And I'm really excited for what possibilities can be opened up that weren't possible before due to various constraints that existed that no longer exist. Now, granted, we have a long way to go, but we'll get there eventually. Like, I'm not worried about that. I just don't know how long it'll take. And until then, I'm going to keep talking about what's possible, and I'm going to keep talking about what I'm excited about, because at least when I'm doing it here, I'm sending it out into the world, and I'm not just annoying my wife who sits there and rolls her eyes as I start talking about this stuff. When I put this stuff out on YouTube, the robots start doing the work of finding the people who care about it. And over time, hopefully I'll get better at sharing my ideas. The robots will get better at finding the people who actually care about my ideas. And we'll meet in the middle. And we'll be great friends. And it'll be a great time. And the robots will serve drinks or something. Anyway, that's it today. Focus on the ideas. Don't worry as much about the execution. Because even if you can't execute now, the robots will do it for you soon. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.